Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena. Welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to talk about all the finalists for SPSFC 2021. Technically, because next year is going to be 2022. Exactly. But yeah, I had to read the 7 finalists basically because none of ours made it to the finals. So I had to read all of them. And I have a bit of mixed feelings, but overall, I pretty much enjoyed all of them. But obviously I have my favorites. So we're going to talk about them. But at the end, I will also tell you the winner in case you haven't heard about it yet. So the first one that I read was In the Orbit of Sirens by T.A. Bruno, because this one had an audiobook, so I decided to start with this one basically. And I have to say that it's one of my favorites. This book actually has some hype behind it. For what I understand, like everyone pretty much really liked this one. But also outside the contest is pretty well known apparently. I had no idea, honestly. But yeah, I think it's very well deserved. Basically, the main summary here is that the remnants but what's left of humanity is forced to flee because of this war with this kind of aliens. So they basically arrive at a new world, and this world is also pretty dangerous. It also has like another kind of alien race that is based on birds, which is like a weird but cool concept. And there's also something dangerous in this planet. Like we get a bit of like little glimpses at it. There's a scene where they explore like an abandoned kind of temple slash city, and it's all just like filled with bodies of the aliens. And it's just, I love that trope. I love that trope so much. Like you cannot even imagine. So I was very into this book at first. Like it was just so intriguing. Also the prologue is great when they have to flee basically. It's just like a great, like, feels like tense. It's like a very tense chase scene. So I really liked it overall. And also, just as I've told you, the beginning, this thing related with the siren, I just don't want to spoil anything, honestly. Like the beginning of this book is so good. So you better just read this one. But it was just so great. It's very suspenseful also. And you're just like, what the hell is going on? But I just really liked it in general. I do have to say that I have one con. The other one is not really a con, but the first, like the thing that impacted my enjoyment the most was the fact that it just dragged a bit in the middle. Like it had like a great ending and a great beginning. So when you have like that beginning that is just so filled with action, the middle can feel just, you know, a little bit toned down. Though, don't get me wrong, I really like to learn about the aliens and such, but you know, some of these scout tests I wasn't really into, but that's just my personal preference, nothing wrong with it. But yeah, overall I really liked it. I do have to say that there's a love relationship here, and it's a bit cringy, but it's okay. Like, it's nothing like super disturbing or anything like that. Like, you can go past it, no problem. But still, it was a bit cringy at times. They're also like a young couple, so understandable. Just like the representation is good, you know. But sometimes I was just like, stop it. But yeah, overall, I very much really like this book. I ended up giving this one a 8 out of 10. So it was basically my highest note, along with another book, but that I also gave an 8. But yeah, it was really good in general. I actually will continue this series. I think it's already out, book 2. Yes, it's already out. So I'll probably check it out. I do have to see if it has an audiobook, because I actually really like the audiobook, so I hope it has one. But yeah, an 8 out of 10 for me. The next book that I read was Captain Wu by Patrice Fitzgerald and Jack Lister. I actually really enjoyed this one. It's not exactly my type of science fiction book, but it still was good overall. So basically, you're going to follow Captain Wu. She is the lead captain of this group of smugglers, and then they basically come across this thing that they have to deliver, but the people that they had to deliver it to are completely wiped out, so they are very concerned with this technology. It's just like your very much just like, what the hell is going on type of adventure. You're going to follow this crew jumping around different places in space, trying to figure out what the hell is this thing that they have to deliver, and why is everyone just after them now. So it was very enjoyable. That's my like main feeling with it. It was, I do have to say, let me just say this one first. I loved the main character, Captain Wu. She's so cool. Like, she's probably my favorite character out of the all SPSFC. Like, she is so well fleshed out. She's actually a grandma. Like, it's so cool. I actually really like when we have like more like older main characters. I don't know why, but I'm always okay with a younger one. But I just really appreciate when you have like an older main character, like older, not like in their 20s, 30s, no, like an old one, like 50s, 60s. It's just, it has something. I don't know. It just has something. Like with Tamas in the Power Mage trilogy. I don't know. I just really like to follow like sometimes like more like older people in this type of like adventure stories, because it just adds like a great to it. I don't know. It's just very weird. Sometimes I just really like to mix things up, but I really like that. Captain Wu was definitely the best character out of all the competition. Like, she's so cool. Like, she's so badass. Like, so badass. But yeah, I'll have to say that even though this kind of fell into a trope that I like, I just didn't love the plot overall. Like, my main point of enjoyment was Captain Wu with this book, which is not something wrong, but I don't know, I just didn't love it as much as the other judges. I think this one was it Scott's favorite? I'm not sure, but overall everyone really liked this one. I did really liked it too, but just not enough for me to just like be just like, yeah, it's my favorite. So overall I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Super enjoyable. Highly recommend the read if you're looking for a super like fun, kind of lighthearted but sometimes very hard to fill type of book. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this one. Then I read Monster of the Dark by Katie Belt, which was a surprise. I don't know, but I came into this one with kind of low expectations because I either love or hate kind of training stories. So hear me out. The main plot of this book is that we're going to follow these two main POVs. Both of them are girls that were not stolen, but they were taken away from their parents, and now they're being raised to just use these powers that they have. They are called clairvoyants. They basically have like telekinetic and telepathic powers. So it's a very cool like training montage. I do have to say there's an animal in this story and it fucking dies. I'm sorry for the spoilers, but I just don't give a fuck. I fucking hate that. So be warned. But overall, I was actually very pleasantly surprised by this one. I think it's the one that I read the fastest, even though it's definitely not the shortest one. But I don't know, it's just, I think it's because of the writing style that is just like very flowy. It's very easy to read and to follow, and the change of POVs is not like super like cut and straightforward. Like, chapters have like a good amount of room to just evolve. So I don't know, for some reason, I just really clicked with this book, even though the plot wasn't something that I was really into. Not much, because it definitely felt like more of a training montage, but very extended. But I don't know, the flow of the book works greatly. I don't know what it is about it, but it really works for me. I did really like the dynamic between the two main characters, because they don't really interact that much with each other along the books. They have like a few encounters, but that made the ending a little bit too cookie cutter for my taste. I don't know, everything just like wrapped up super beautifully at the end, which doesn't really feel like the book, because the book doesn't shy from being gory at times, you know, and being hard at times. So I don't know, it was just like too perfect. Maybe it's just the dark fantasy lover inside me that is not used to just super happy endings in general. But I don't know, that part just rubbed me up the wrong way. I don't know, I just didn't love it as much as the rest of the book. But yeah, as with Captain Wu, I ended up giving this one 6.5 out of 10. Super enjoyable also. If you just like a power story, like someone with powers, you're probably going to really like this one. I also really like the little like twitches of the little touches of just like how the galaxy, not exactly the galaxy, but how of the why they are training them, basically. Like, there were just like some notions here and there which felt like more interesting stuff than the things that we were doing, if that makes sense. But yeah, overall, very enjoyable. Then the next one that I read was A Star Named Vega by Benjamin Roberts, and sadly I have to say this was my least favorite one. I just don't really know why, because I just couldn't click with it. There's this weird thing about me. Sometimes I just really get into the story and that's it. But sometimes I'm just reading it and I'm just like everywhere else. Like I'll be just thinking about completely anything else. And this book sadly wasn't really able to grab my attention. But I don't think that is because of the book in general. I think the book is fine. If not, it wouldn't be in the finals basically. But I don't know. For me, it's just like really didn't work. Like I didn't feel any attachment to the characters. The plot was okay. Like it's basically about this girl who is kind of wrapped around in the middle of saving this warrior race. The humans basically are just like, yeah, they're dangerous. We have to typical human behavior, you know. But I don't know. The beginning had me. Like the first scene when they are outside with the suits and such, I really like that. But then it just lost me somewhere. I don't know why, but it just didn't work out for me. Still, I don't think it's a bad book, so I ended up giving it a 6 out of 10 because there's nothing wrong with it. It was just me, and it didn't feel right to just put like a very low score for it. Then the next one that I read was Ducket and Dire, Digs for Hire by G.M. Nair. And actually, I really enjoyed this one. Like, I liked it more than I thought I would because, as I've told you, I'm very weird with space, like, kind of adventures and also time travel. So I was just like, okay, let's just try this one and see how it works. And it actually did work. Like, I didn't love it, but I did really liked it. So basically, you're going to follow these two characters, Ducket and Dire. Like, that's the name of their agency. But for now, at the beginning, they are Michael and Stephanie. And the best thing about this book is their dynamic. They have been friends for a long time, so their dynamic is super weird and super funny. And they are basically trapped in this very convoluted time travel scheme with, parallel universes and such. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like your typical science fiction mess where you have to make everything right. I really liked it in general. They are basically trying to find these missing persons. It's just super weird, but it's also very funny. So if you really like, you're very like quirky type of science fiction adventures with two protagonists that they're like, they hate and love each other so much. It's just super cool to see in action. Like on page, it works so well. Like I highly recommend this one. If you're looking for a good time, highly recommend this one. I'm also planning on reading the second one. I think the first 3 are already out, but I'm definitely planning on continuing this series because it's just super fun. Like pure fun. Like I don't think the plot was that good in general, but the charisma of the characters was so good. And their interactions, top notch all the time. The relationship, it's just the best. So basically, I ended up giving this one a 7 out of 10. Definitely one of the best ones. I really, really enjoyed it. So I will highly recommend to check it out if you just like space adventures. Super good. So now we're down to the last 2. So the second to last that I read was Steel Guardian by Cameron Corral. And hear me out. I was very pleasantly surprised by this book because whenever the synopsis is basically about a robot that ends up taking care of a baby, which I don't like. Let me tell you this much, I just don't like. I work with kids, I don't like kids. It's just, I hate stories with kids, cannot handle them, but I don't know, this one was actually like super good in general. I really enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobook and I read it basically on one sitting. I think I was cleaning my car and I was just like listening to this one and super enjoyable. It reminded me a lot of the film. It's called Cargo? I'm not sure. But with the actor of Sherlock. Not Sherlock, but Watson. And it's a zombie movie and this man is bitten and he has to take care of his baby. And it reminded me a lot of that one, but it also reminded me a lot because robots and humans are kind of at war. So it reminded me a lot of like a Love, Death and Robots chapter. I don't know why, but it just had like that same feeling. Like I 100% see this one animated and made into one of the episodes of the show. Like 100%, like the robots that appear in the first episode of the seasons. Like the ones that are exploring the world after the apocalypse and there's only cats now. 100% can see this. Can see this one. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything else because this book, I think, is one of the shortest one. I think it doesn't even have like 300 pages. So pretty much, no, 330, like it's very short. So I ended up giving this one 7.5 out of 10. Definitely one of my favorites. Like I enjoyed this one so much. I highly recommend it if you're looking for just like a kind of not cute, because it had like some hard topics at time related to humanity and such, but definitely worth the read. And then the last one that I read was Iron Truth by S.A. Tholin, which I will tell you just right now, I ended up giving an 8 out of 10. It was probably my favorite of the finalists, but it also had some issues. Don't get me wrong, I've only heard praise about this book from the other judges, but for me, some things like didn't quite work out. Probably because I had like super high expectations about this book. Probably because I've heard people outside the SPSFC bubble talk about this one. So I think that might be the case. But I had like super high expectations. I went into it thinking that it was going to be my favorite book. It kind of was, but I also gave the same rating to this one as to the Orbit of Sirens. So, you know, not a disappointment, but still I was waiting for something else. But this is actually a very complex story. Like at the beginning, not that much happens, and that's maybe why it lost me a bit, because the parts that I was more interested in didn't appear till later. But we're going to follow mostly two groups of characters. So we have this one who was like in cryostasis, wakes up, she's in this fucking planet, she doesn't know what to do. And then we're going to follow like this group of soldiers that work for this enterprise that controls several planets, the Primes. Is it the Primes? I might be forgetting the name. But they kind of fight these things that they call demons that take take possession of people. It's just so weird. It has horror elements, of course. So that was what got me interested on this book. The demons, where I was just like, okay, I'm going to love this. But for my taste, they don't appear enough. Probably in the sequel, we're going to explore more of this. There's also a love story, which didn't bother me, but I didn't love it either. Like at first glance, felt too insta-lovey. Like I haven't seen anyone mention this, but literally the dude comes across the girl and he's just like, oh my god, she is made for me. Look at this hair, look at those eyes. And I'm just like, dude. I don't know. I always find like those kind of interactions like super cringy, and I just cannot help it. But when I was reading it, I was just like, ugh, fucking do it. But that, I don't know, it didn't take my enjoyment, but I didn't feel as connected with that couple as the rest of like basically the world. But it's okay. Like definitely the plot is worth it in this book. Is the best part for me, but it also takes a bit to take off. So you really need to push through a couple hundred pages, because this one is also a tome, like it's almost 600 pages. Like it took me a while to get into this one, but I was also pretty excited. So yeah, as I've told you, 8 out of 10. And actually, Iron Truth was the winner of SPSFC this year. So congratulations to the author, because obviously you did a great job. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what the next year is going to bring us. I will also be judging next year, so you can still expect more videos about science fiction self-published books from me. But yeah, that's basically all. I don't have anything else to say. I'm just super tired, so I'm going to go. But if you're planning on reading any of these books, please just let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.